Welcome back, everybody. Before we head out to the farm, I thought I'd show you a little clip of the mountains. Here's Mount 4 Acre, and then to the right will be Denali. It's always a treat when flying back and forth and the weather's nice. You get great views of the tallest peak in North America. And with winter approaching fast, they have a fresh blanket of snow on them. Well, good morning, everybody. It is foggy here at the farm. It is September 28th. It is as still can be. About 28 degrees, so definitely froze last night. We will go up and check on the corn and see if it has been cold long enough to actually freeze the corn. If not, there's a chance we may get a few more ears out of the field. Also need to dig potatoes today because at these temperatures, the ground's going to get hard pretty fast. And we'll start some fires. And then I believe we'll do some more mulching and see what else we can get into. Hope everybody's having a great day. I guess let's go play in the fog. As I was headed down to light some burn piles, I ran across this cow, moose, and calf. They weren't overly concerned about my presence. They slowly moved off out of the way. It is an absolutely perfect day for burning. There's not a breath of air. Heavy frost and fog this morning. So really nice. Gonna light a few of these piles, get them off the list. These are the piles we piled up in April, just as the snow was going. So they've been sitting here waiting all summer. And it is definitely worth the wait. We could have gotten a permit from forestry in the summer sometime to burn them. It's just a little more difficult to do that, and there's more hazard. Much nicer to wait till this time of year when we can burn them without the fire danger. So good to get them burned. Got a few more to go. Looking across the pond. One fire there. I don't know if you can see it. There's one in the middle of the screen. Kind of cool. Okay, so hard freeze last night. 27 degrees when I got to the farm at 7 a.m., so probably is a little colder than that. Froze hard enough that there's about 3/4 of an inch of frost in the ground. It'll melt off today more than likely as the sun comes out, but the damage is already done. The corn stalks froze all the way. The corn itself will have frozen. It's not the same after it freezes. And when you walk through the field, you can definitely tell it's different. It doesn't smell the same. So that's the end of harvesting corn for this year. There wasn't much left in the field. Was hoping to get a few more ears. That's okay. We had a really good year. Learned a lot. Going to make a lot of improvements for next year. So that's awesome. But it is a foggy, frosty day. This awesome corn hat was sent to us by a viewer. And apparently the frosty backdrop was provided by Jack Frost. So we appreciate everybody watching. And we'll keep you up to date what's going on. We're going to kind of shift gears now. Harvest is about over. We're going to dig some potatoes today, get them out of the ground before it gets any harder. And then we're pretty much done. There is some grain to harvest with the combine if it'll dry out enough. Hopefully the sun burns this fog off, melts the frost off, dries it out good enough we can use the combine. Otherwise we'll be back to mulching. We'll be able to disc for another week maybe. If you know what temperatures do, they're supposed to be in the upper 20s, low 30s at night, and then in the 40s during the day. So the freeze-thaw cycle, hopefully we can continue to work the ground for another week or two. And then we've got a bunch of burn piles, and we'll start chipping away at those. So shift gears to get a little more clearing done and start prepping for next spring. So May's not too far away. We've got to get ready for it. Okay, anybody's wondering, believe it or not, we're going to get all the drip tape picked up this fall. Had some help with that from one of our good friends, which is nice. So we'll get all the drip tape out of the corn. I'm getting the last of it out of the pumpkins and the other vegetables. Get that all picked up. Hopefully can start disking this field over here, hopefully before freeze up. If not, it'll be ready in the spring. We won't have the drip tape to worry about. Hopefully we're 2 or 3 weeks away from any snow. But we've gotten most all the irrigation stuff picked up. I did that last weekend. Pumps out of the water. The drip tape's going to be removed. All the other items that have water and been drained, put away. So that's good. It's a good thing to have done. As I mentioned, with it being calm and cool, with heavy frost, it's the perfect time to burn these piles. So we're burning quite a few of them today. This is always an exciting time of year, waiting all summer for the opportunity to burn these piles. Here's some time-lapse footage from the other side of the pond, up on the hill by where the corn is planted. Within a couple of hours, the piles had burned down to the point it was time to go get the dozer to consolidate them. This is Rush Road, and within 2 or 3 weeks, they will be starting construction. And if things go according to plan, by Thanksgiving, they'll be completed with the road project. And having a good solid all-weather road to access the property will be great. And it'll make moving around the different parcels much faster and much easier. I've showed this in previous videos. As the piles burn down, it always leaves a few stragglers around the edge. So generally, trying to stay upwind, go around with the dozer and just push everything together so it burns a little more completely. Not much left of these piles. If we didn't use the dozer to push them together, the fires would eventually burn out and there would be a few logs left behind. And at that point you could definitely come back, repile the logs, or put several piles together and start another fire. Either approach seems to work just fine. But always remember not to get too far into the fire, and you definitely don't want to have a fuel leak or break a hydraulic line, as that would be bad. We tend to play it pretty safe and not get too deep into the fire. Just push the edges in. Okay, now it's time to get those potatoes dug. I didn't get a lot of video of this, and by the time I was done, I only had one disc on the toolbar, and that seemed to work really good, going down the row of potatoes and flipping the dirt off and pulling the potatoes up to the surface. By no means is it a purpose-built potato digger, but it sure was better than a potato fork or digging them by hand. And we did okay with potatoes this year. We got a modest crop, given the limited care they got. And given this sandy loam soil, when digging the potatoes there was virtually no mud or dirt on the potatoes. I'm not going to say they were perfectly clean, but it was almost fun to dig the potatoes. Okay, maybe not fun, but it wasn't a chore either. But it was something that needed to get done as the freeze was coming. And this crop of potatoes was planted a little late, probably not enough fertilizer, and there was no water or irrigation. Next year we'll put a little more effort into it and see what kind of potatoes we really can grow out here. But the fact there are no rocks, I mean absolutely 0 rocks in the ag project, it is definitely perfect ground for potatoes and other root crops. Once you get all the sticks and the roots out of the way, most any kind of commercial digger would work wonderfully.
Well,
Well, good morning, everybody. It is a cool, clear September 29th, about 6:30 in the morning. So a little bit of fog this morning that should burn off. So let's get everything rolling, get out to the farm. Got things to do. Us disking. This first pass always is the hardest one, the roughest. But we're getting her. As with any kind of project, you have priorities. And up to this point, the priorities had been working on how we're growing our corn and getting the farm cleared of the trees, stumps, and debris. Now that we have a good handle on the clearing, it's time to get caught up with some tillage. And on this morning, there was about an inch of frost, but that really didn't seem to bother the disc too much. It cut right through it and did a great job. We don't really have to worry about erosion, especially through the winter months, because in all reality, it will be froze solid from mid-October all the way through mid-April. And then in the springtime, it can be fairly wet right up till it's time to plant. So if you can get the ground worked in the fall, that way it's mostly ready by spring. As the sun was coming out and the fog was burning off, I took a moment to stop and walk out in the cornfield. Reflect a little bit on how much we accomplished this year and the anticipation of what we will accomplish next year. And even though we're sad to see this summer end, we are definitely excited to see what next year brings. And for those people who aren't from Alaska, here it is, the end of September, the ground is starting to freeze. And it will stay frozen till sometime in the middle of April, or possibly even into early May. And there are some definite advantages when it gets cold. Number one, the mosquitoes all go away. And number two, you don't have to put ice in the cooler anymore. Well, as you can see, the sun has come up. The fog is burning off. There's a little smoke mixed in with it as well. The corn is frosty. It's about 25 degrees last night, maybe even a little cooler. Well, that's a good hard freeze. Fall is over and winter is here. It'll be up in the 30s today, maybe even 40, 41, but we'll slowly lose daytime temperatures and the nighttime temperatures will get cooler and cooler, little by little. They're projecting clear weather for the rest of the week, which will be nice. We get a lot done. I'm going to kick into clearing now. Dave's over working behind me on lot 25. I think we have a couple more weeks on that one. Then it'll be cleared. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Depends how things go. Then George has been working back behind me on lot 19 and lot 20. And they're probably half done. A third done anyways, I think. So we'll be burning some of those piles next week and get going on getting that cleared. So there is a chance we'll be done clearing by the time it gets too cold or too much snow. We'll just see how fall progresses. I just got done disking up where we had the strawberries and the potatoes and the tomatoes, peppers. Ran over that with a disc, got it smoothed out, chopped up. Here it is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The frost has burned off, which is kind of nice. I thought I'd get up on the roof of the dozer and do a panoramic and show everybody what the farm's looking like.
Today we're going to take some soil samples. So we'll be doing that here shortly. Taryn went to go get the four-wheeler where we can drive around and get soil samples from.
We'll get soil samples in a few different places on every parcel. Good to know what the nutrient content of the soil is. So that's what we're doing this afternoon, is gathering soil samples.
So what he's doing is he's going to go to different spots here on this lot 20, grab a small shovel full, and then we're going to mix them all together. And then we're going to fill them, put a little bit in the baggie, and send it in.
We'll make some notes. Hopefully keep track of where these came from. Meanwhile, over on lot 25, the cat skid steer, which we affectionately call Minion, is steadily grinding the brush and trees into chips. We're going to end the video here. It has been a very busy day. Did some soil samples, disked a bit. Dave was clearing, cleaned up things around the farm, get ready for winter, that kind of stuff. So it is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. I hope everybody out there is having a great day. Look forward to seeing you all here next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. The plan moving forward now, with a little luck, here a few days, it'll be dry enough. We can see if we can get some grain harvested. There's no moisture in the forecast for the next week, so looks like we might be able to pull that off, because if it snows on it, it will lay it down, and that's the end of that. It's probably going to get permanently frozen pretty quick, and that'll put an end to any kind of dirt work, disking, things like that. So we'll just move straight into land clearing at that point and burning. So get quite a few piles to burn, and then we'll just keep chunking along, like we say, until too cold or too much snow, and keep on clearing. Get this done so we can start farming, because you can't farm as long as there's trees on it. Just a really nice day.